As Matt Gaetz said earlier, actually way back in January, this is kind of the manifestation of the Trump campaign thinking, is that for every Karen, represented by the professional woman on the phone book, that Trump drives away, he attracts a Jose and a Jamal. Those are kind of, terms for Hispanic and African American voters. And when you look at the polling data, this is actually, you see this happening, which is that Trump definitely is losing a lot of white college-educated women. They are very set for Biden, but he is also bringing in a lot more Hispanic and Latino, particularly male voters.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, this week you wrote a piece about how the Karen-filled Democratic Party is driving away male voters who are flocking to Republicans, even male voters of color. Tell us about that transition.
Yeah, well, I think this is a topic that's been brewing for a while, but it kind of hit home this past weekend when the super PAC, Trump super PAC, ran an ad in Georgia that featured a professional-looking, white woman on doing a phone bank, and she calls a prospective voter who we never see, but the voice sounds kind of African American, and she says, "Oh, we show that you voted for Biden last time. We were voting for Biden this time." And the guy's like, "No, everything costs more. Everything sucks now." And the woman's like, "Oh, but Biden is helping, recent immigrants with their rent." And the guy's like, "Yeah, that's exactly the problem. He's helping all these immigrants. It's nothing for me." And as Matt Gaetz said earlier, actually way back in January, this is kind of the manifestation of the Trump campaign thinking, is that for every Karen, represented by the professional woman on the phone book, that Trump drives away, he attracts a Jose and a Jamal. Those are kind of, terms for Hispanic and African American voters. And when you look at the polling data, this is actually, you see this happening, which is that Trump definitely is losing a lot of white college-educated women. They are very set for Biden, but he is also bringing in a lot more Hispanic and Latino, particularly male voters. And he doesn't have to outright win Hispanic voters, although in some areas, especially along the border, he is. But if he can just cut the losses, from 75-25 to 60-40, or among African Americans from 90-10 to 75-25, then that is a whole new wave of people that can support Trump and put him over the edge.
The conventional wisdom held that Trump, a racist president, was driving away voters of color, or he would with his really strict immigration policies. But it sounds like what you're saying is the opposite is really happening when we're seeing lenient immigration policies in place.
Absolutely. And it's not just immigration, but immigration drives a lot of it. But there are other issues. Like when you look at the Democratic Party, the DNC's main webpage, they have a look of all these, communities they support. And they have like overseas Democrats and LGBTQ plus Democrats and of course women. But there's no line on there for men. And so when men, even of minority status, come into the Democratic Party and say, what is this party offering me? There's nothing there.
Shame.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas with Trump, they're like, we want you to be a strong father. We want you to earn more money. We want you to be a leader of your household. And these are all things that appeal to all men, but especially Latino and African American men.
You alerted me to a phenomenon that I did not know existed prior to reading your piece about an illegal immigration loophole that is potentially posing a national security threat at airports. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I haven't witnessed this personally, but if you're on Twitter, you've seen pictures of it a lot. And it's not, very politically minded people, but it's just, videos, TikToks of people in line at airport, and they're having to wait in line for security like we've all done, which is annoying. But what's even more annoying is when you have a separate line of migrants coming through, and they're going ahead of you, and they don't even have to show ID. So what you have is a lot of these migrants, when they're caught and released by Biden into the country, a lot of them have dished their passport and other government issue ID because they don't want to have to show what country they've actually been living in.
Right.
So then they wouldn't be able to travel anywhere. So what Biden has done is he has told the TSA that says, when we give these immigrants their notice to appear, their documents that say this is where you have to report, this is the court you have to report to, you have to accept that as identification for a plane. It doesn't have their picture on it, doesn't have anything, it just has their name that they gave that they could have made up. And that's all they have to show to TSA to get on the plane. The problem is that there's not the time to vet these people.
Right.
There's not time to do the background checks. And there's just been instance after instance where people who have been allowed to fly by Biden's catch and release program have then later on shown to be outright terrorists, double murderers, sexual offenders, and Biden is just letting all these people into the country and fly in our planes.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.